everyone that came down. Just give us 1 or 2 minutes and we'll go ahead and get started. Good evening, and welcome to the June 27th, 2023 regular session meeting of City Council. If you are here tonight and would like to address council, please register with staff in the lobby. I know we have a lot of speakers here tonight. Please indicate item I for matters that are germane to City Council if the item you wish to speak to is not on the agenda. For those who have not heard about our light system, I know we have a lot of speakers tonight, and I want to be fair to everyone and make sure that everyone gets their 3 minutes. So please adhere to the light system. After stating your name and address, the green light will appear. After 2 minutes, the yellow light will appear. And after 3 minutes, the red light will appear, and we ask that you take your seat. Written remarks may be handed to the city clerk to be made a part of the record. The City Code identifies the procedure for citizen participation regarding items on tonight's council agenda and provides the opportunity for citizens to address City Council on matters that are germane to council. Copies of this ordinance regarding participation can be found at the desk in the lobby. If you intend to address council this evening, please pick up and review a copy of that ordinance. At this time, please silence your phones. Prior to beginning the business portion of our meeting, Pastor Chamberlain with Hilton Christian Church will provide an invocation to the council. Afterwards, Councilman Woodbury will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. It is the practice of the council members to stand for the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Those who also wish to stand are welcome, but are under no obligation to do so. Thank you.
If you would be in an attitude of prayer with me in whatever is suited to your tradition. Gracious God, this council meets tonight to hear issues that face the citizens of this city. They will be called to make decisions on some of the mundane things of ongoing business. Grant them wisdom as they are called upon to make decisions on a wide range of items, including zoning, conditional use permits, code amendments, and even the keeping of backyard chickens. Grant wisdom and insight, especially in the decisions that will touch lives surrounding the location of the Peninsula Rescue Mission Women's Ministry. Please grant that the members of this council will have ears to hear all the sides of issues presented. Help them to be especially aware of those affected by their decisions, but who are not able to make their voices heard here tonight. Grant them wisdom to represent the greater good of the whole community and not just those with money and voice to make their case. Grant them eyes to see the hidden needs these issues may raise, and grant them hearts that break at the human needs these issues address. By your grace, grant them courage to work for a city that is just and habitable for all of her citizens, and grant them a sound night's rest after they have transacted the business tonight. Let it be a rest of those who do the work of justice. Amen.
Amen. Would you join me in honoring our country's flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Public hearings. Page 5. Item E1 is a request to adopt an ordinance authorizing change of zoning Charlie Zulu 2023-2002 to Cottage Grove Acquisitions, LLC, FS Cottage Grove, Stone Cottage Grove, and Cottage Grove, LLC from C2 General Commercial to R7 Medium Density multifamily dwelling with proffers for a 1.03 acre parcel located at 5416 Jefferson Avenue. On June 7th, 2023, the City Planning Commission voted 9-0 to recommend approval of change of zoning number Charlie Zulu-2023-0002 with proffers. The city manager recommends approval. Are there any speakers? Mr. Sambaraki?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, member of the council. My name is Sam Baraki. Business address is 5267 Greenwich Road, Virginia Beach. The proposed application in front of you tonight is to rezone the almost a little bit over 1 acre at the intersection of Jefferson and College Drive, which is part of the Cottage Grove apartments behind it. The purpose of this rezoning is to construct a 5,400 square feet community center to serve the apartment behind. The community center will will have a community room which will have after-school children activities as well as associated with the Silver Sneaker senior citizen activities as well as a weight rooms and exercise room for active adults. The proposed use, as I said, is just to build a community center to serve the apartments behind it, the existing apartments behind the area. Planning Commission, as Mr. Mayor mentioned, that recommended 9-0 for approval. Staff has recommended for approval, and on behalf of my client, I respectfully request that you approve this application. And with that, I will stand by to answer any question.
Do we have any questions at this time? Hearing none, thank you. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
4.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
4.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
4.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
4.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Page 23, item E2 is a request to adopt an ordinance granting conditional use permit Charlie Uniform -2023-0001 to Newport News Shipbuilding Employees Credit Union, Inc. and Peninsula Rescue Mission, Inc. to allow for the operation of a group home on a 1.33 acre parcel located at 9308 Warwick Boulevard, Zone 01 Office. The Peninsula Rescue Mission proposes to repurpose an existing office building into a group home for unaccompanied women, in addition to utilizing part of the structure for their admin offices. On June 7th, 2023, the City Planning Commission voted 9-0 to recommend approval of conditional use permit Charlie Uniform -2023-0001 with conditions. I know there are some speakers. I do want to say one thing before. So talking to my colleagues on City Council, the plan is going to be we would like to defer this until we have time to have a more informative town hall and have proper discussions. When you look at the entire region, this has always been a task force, a commission, and that is what council would like to recommend. That being said, we would like to hear from each and every person about this, but I want to make sure that everyone in the community is involved in this decision. I'm going to turn it over to the city attorney to talk about the rules for speaking in this one and the next meeting. City attorney.
What the council will do is open the public hearing tonight, and anyone who wishes to speak can have their 3 minutes. But when they continue the public hearing to July 25th, you won't be able to speak at both. So you can speak tonight, or you can speak then. So it's your call. I mean, under the rules of the city council, you get 3 minutes. And then it's the same public hearing, it's just going to be continued. It's my understanding that it will be continued to the next meeting, which is July 25th.
And, well, we have to make it that the vote will be after the July 25th, right?
Yes, I mean, the public hearing and action would all be deferred, but what we'll do is open the public hearing since all these people came down. Those who want to speak tonight and can't come back on the 25th or would rather speak tonight are free to do so. And those who would rather wait and speak on the 25th can do that as well.
Because this is we'll have order, this is a multifaceted issue, and so there's going to be multifaceted approach, and so I know there are a lot of external and internal stakeholders, and so the proper thing is to have a community town hall dedicated to this instead of ramroding a vote tonight. So that is going to be what council is going to do. That being said, I'll now call I guess, are there any speakers?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Miss Lindsay Patayat. I'm sorry.
Mayor Jones and Vice Mayor Bethany and esteemed members of the City Council, my name is Lindsay Poteet. I reside at 15079 Turner Drive in Smithfield, Virginia, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the Rescue Mission. For the last half century, a little over 50 years actually, I've had a front row seat for the Peninsula Rescue Mission's effort to minister to the homeless here in Newport News. Mine was a support role with the founder for the first 10 years, and then at his death, I led the ministry for a little over 30 years, and for the last 10 years, I've served in a part-time support position with the current CEO. Multiplied, thousands of men have found a safe haven in our shelter since April of 1966. While with us, they cost the city nothing in policing or incarceration or in any other way. When under our care, they're not sleeping in doorways of buildings, they're not breaking into abandoned cars or houses or other buildings to find a place to sleep. Many have gone on to become productive tax-paying citizens. I wish time would allow for some anecdotal sharing of men that I've run into all over the peninsula who came through the rescue mission and got on their feet and are now active citizens. As the homeless demographics have changed, the rescue mission has taken necessary steps to meet the ever-changing needs. The current leadership team has shown an exceptional ability to adapt to maximize effective ministry and care for our men. We are now seeking the opportunity to reach out to the large underserved population of unaccompanied homeless ladies. When given that chance, I have every confidence that this team will employ all available means to help these precious souls. Those who stay with us will not be on the street sleeping like you see in places now. They will not have to resort to degrading behavior to get the money for a night's lodging or a meal. They'll be safe, they'll be fed, they'll be housed, they'll be clothed. Our mission statement is this: the Peninsula Rescue Mission exists to serve the poor and needy, shelter the homeless, and share Christ with all who come our way. For many years, that statement applied almost exclusively to males, as female homelessness was virtually unknown. Sadly, that's no longer the case. Women make up a significant portion now of the homeless population. We've ministered to ladies in many ways, but we've not currently have a shelter to take them off the street and a place to train them on how to get back into society and live productive lives. We want to enlarge our ministry to have that mission include them, and we seek your help in that quest. Thank you. May God bless you, and as you serve, bless the city of Newport News.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peyton White.
Mr. Mayor and City Council members, my name is Peyton White, and I live at 235 Dublin Court, Newport News 23601, and I've lived in Newport News for 50 years. I'm speaking in favor of the Peninsula Rescue Mission operation of a group home. Since the late 1980s, my church, Community Bible Church on Harpersville Road, has brought the chapel service and homemade treats for the guys of the Peninsula Rescue Mission the second Tuesday evening of each month. There have been very few of those Tuesdays that I have missed. I want to read 1 John verses 16 through 17. We know love by this, that he laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. But whoever has the world's goods and sees his brother in need and closes his heart against him, how does the love of God abide in him? There are a number of lonely and alone ladies on the peninsula. Like the men served by the Peninsula Rescue Mission, they need the same compassion, instruction, and opportunity to become independent citizens who will then be able to bless others with their lives. I want to read Romans 13, verses 1, 3, and 4. Every person is to be in subjection to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those which exist are established by God. For rulers are not a cause of fear for good behavior, but for evil. Do you want to have no fear of authority? Do what is good, and you will have praise from the same. For it is a minister of God to you for good. You are our governing authorities placed over us by God. It is your God-given responsibility to please God and bless these dear ladies by allowing the Peninsula Rescue Mission to serve them. The housing and care are provided solely by private funds. There is no expense to the government. We've been praying for months and months that you will approve the Peninsula Rescue Mission housing for these dear ladies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Danielle Etheridge.
My name is Daniel Etheridge, and my wife Claire and I own the Georgia Peach in Hilton Village. That's 10377 Ward Boulevard. And my wife and I, as business owners, uniquely understand the challenges that our fellow business owners face and the reality of homelessness in our area. And I've come tonight to speak on behalf of the group home, and there are three main reasons I think you should approve this group home. The first one is the real need. We leave and show up to work every day with the reality of homelessness on the step of our business, in the alley of our business. We know these women's faces, we see them, and there is a genuine need for this group home. The second, perhaps the most important, is how they're planning to address the problem. There are many well-meaning groups, humanitarian aid, people, organizations, who attempt to address homelessness by addressing a very felt need: food, water, clothing. And in doing so, they attract homeless people to them for a split second. And while they meet a very real felt need, those same people end up back on the street that night. In doing so, it centralizes homelessness to districts like Hilton Village right now. But it fails to really provide for their true needs. This group home gives them an opportunity to not just live in a home, but to go through a program that will help them become members of society again. Their emotional, mental, physical needs will be met, all off the street. So not only do I not think this will add to the homelessness problem, I believe this has an unbelievable opportunity to actually address the real problem and to minister to women who so greatly need it. And the final reason that I'm urging you to support it as a business owner is the people who are behind this. This is not an organization that showed up overnight. We know what they're about. And for the last 50 years, they have loved and served this city, the city we do business in, the city we love. And I believe that they have proven for 50 years exactly what type of home this will be and why it will benefit the city of Newport News. Unbeknownst to them, barring that y'all approve it, we plan to actually give a portion of our gross revenue to see that this group home succeeds, because it means that much to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have Tim Trent? Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor. If it's the will of council to defer this, then I would like to defer my remarks to the continuation of the public hearing. We certainly would welcome a decision tonight, but respect council's decision in that regard. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
So I have I know you represent the mission. I have a question for the city attorney. As he's the one that's representing, is he able to come back, or is he only able to talk once?
He'll get once, so
He'll get
that's why
one.
he's deferring.
Got you. But are we allowed to still ask questions?
That would be part of his time, actually.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay,
So if you'd save your questions for the next.
we'll save it to him. Thank you. Jonathan DeMonche?
Good evening, fellow citizens, council members, Honorable Mayor Philip Jones. My name is Jonathan DeMonch. I live at 102 Harrison Road, Newport News, Virginia, right up the street in Hilton Village. As a citizen of Newport News, it's a privilege to live there, to be a homeowner, and to also serve as the local missions pastor at Liberty Life Church in Hampton. And there's a large portion of our efforts to do outreach that actually is right here in Newport News. And Peninsula Rescue Mission is indeed one of our greatest partners that we love to partner with. Many of our members are volunteers there under the banner of the church, and some of them just as fellow citizens who just love and appreciate the work that is being done there. Perhaps I'm too eager even at approaching the stand, because one of my biggest reasons of being here is to understand why some people may not want this new facility to operate here in Newport News. As a taxpayer, as someone who owns a home in the Hilton Village area and is here for the long haul, I understand the socioeconomic reasons for maybe not wanting something to be so close. However, I consider the distance and the businesses and the busyness of the streets. And again, I just do not see the reason for not having this facility here. And if there are folks that are opposed, I would ask them to reconsider. Furthermore, as a local missions pastor and someone who partners with them continually, we've seen firsthand how they've taken men off the street and how they've turned people that have hang-ups and that are facing homelessness and are allowing them to become tax-paying, law-abiding citizens. I can't imagine somebody that is concerned for their socioeconomic reasons in their community. I don't know what else you'd want except for there to be more of that in your community. Furthermore, just last week, there were 7 of our church members that were being evicted from their homes, and we had to rush and find them places to live. Now, I don't know how long, how many hours folks have stayed on the phone with the Housing Crisis Hotline, or how many organizations, well-meaning organizations that even we partner with, that they've been on the phone with, to try to find housing and facilities for people that need it. And with the crisis that our country is going through, again, I just do not see it. So if anyone has an issue with what Peninsula Rescue Mission wants to do, please come see me at Liberty 1021 Big Bethel Road in Hampton, Virginia. And as a local missions pastor, I would love to hear anything else that you would have to say, or any other alternatives or solutions, because our ears are wide open and we're more than happy to oblige. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Kathy Pope.
Mayor Jones and City Council members, my name is Kathy Pope. I live at 13501 Campground Road, Lenexa, Virginia, 23089. My husband and I ran the local missions ministry at Seaford Baptist Church before my husband's job relocated us out of state. We went on weekly outings in the community serving our homeless friends. The moment they would see us, they knew us. We learned about their struggles. We learned about their health issues. We learned about their families. Beautiful personal relationships were formed by having that consistency of us showing up all the time. I would like to share just a few of the stories, some good, some bad, but I think it would help you to understand the possibilities and the impact that this ministry can do for women and this community. On this particular day, we had decided to stop at the Anchor. We would distribute food, clothing, and blankets, and we would hand out all of these things. Our friends would step aside and wait for us until we were finished so that we could pray for them. And on this one particular outing, I noticed a woman sitting in the wet grass crying. I decided to go and sit with her for a while. When she was able, she asked me to pray that her friend would show up and pick her up so that she wouldn't have to go and stay with the man who was forcing her to have sex in exchange for a place to sleep. It broke me. There was another woman, and she was wheelchair bound, and the people on the streets would steal her things, and her boyfriend would beat her so badly that a volunteer at St. Paul's Church would unlock the doors early so that she would have a place of refuge. On a different outing, we were driving on Warwick and noticed a young lady standing in the freezing cold wearing nothing but flip-flops and a thin surgical set of scrubs. Thankfully, we had her sizes and everything. I mean, it was a total God thing. And we were even able to provide her with a coat and boots. She immediately began changing her clothes right there as we chatted with her in the parking lot, tears rolling down her face as she said thank you. We rolled down, sorry, it's emotional for me. We would check in on her periodically. There were just no shelters available. We tried. We kept trying and trying, and none of them were available because she didn't have children. It's a specific area of women that are really having the struggle to be able to find the help on the streets. She was forced to panhandle and give her earnings to 2 men who were allowing her to sleep in her tent. We later learned that one of the men, named Hobo, was on the most wanted list for murder and rape. I begged her to go back to her family and to call the crisis number. I even put my phone in her hand. And she wouldn't call because she was too afraid. So, sorry, I know I'm late, but anyway, she was too afraid, and we never did see her again, and her bruised body and her vulnerability that day still haunts me. To say there's a great need in this ministry in our community is an understatement. These programs take time to build trust, to be present, to keep showing up, and to invest in their futures. I could not be more excited to see Peninsula Rescue Mission move forward in this endeavor. I have witnessed success stories from men in their program and cannot wait to support and hear of the impact in the lives that will be transformed should you approve this ministry.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Adrienne Burden. And also, for those that are in the back, we do have some seats in the front next to Josh. If you want to sit up here, I just want to make sure people have the option. There are seats available.
Adrienne Burden, 3700 Huntington Avenue, Newport News. And I just want to say my background for 10 seconds so it can make my comments make more sense. Started my nonprofit 15 years ago. My nonprofit partners about 200 nonprofits stateside and overseas. And so travel has given me a unique perspective of understanding the horrors of trafficking, human trafficking, labor trafficking, sex trafficking, and all the above. Newport News currently is number 32 as far as one of the top cities as far as human trafficking is concerned. With that being the numbers being staggering as they are with the airport, all the other the ways of transportations or whatnot, I'm just wondering how time is going to look at us as we just kind of said things about what we should do about this problem versus trying to help the vulnerable of our society. I guess it doesn't take too much to be able to put together that Four Oaks and other places like that would be a target to find those who are most vulnerable in our society. In fact, even visiting and talking to some of the people who work there, they were explaining to me how they're really just bound and helpless to watch people who just exploit on those who are coming out of those situations. A word for the council, the board, and then also a word for the business owner as well. I'm sure the business owners are going to present great cases to why it is, specifically that this is going to hurt their businesses, and I'm sure sure that they're going to be valid, and I believe they'll be cordial as they then even give proper respect to what the mission has been doing for all these many years. However, I do believe that when we get upset about something, we need a face to punch at. And I'm just saying, and just wanting you to consider that PRM is just not that face to punch at. I mean, I'm sure that things need to be addressed, things need to be changed, but I'm just saying, consider the fact that this is just a straw man that is being coming after them. Whenever something negative happens in our society, terrible shootings and stuff, we want to get upset with something. I just don't want PRM to be the scapegoat of their anger. And also concerning the councilmen and those that are here as well. I just really just if anybody in the room understands this, understands the fact that as y'all guys sit there, the ones that are doing the most to help a situation are many times they're getting thrown the largest stones. And so like no one ever cared that, you know, that you didn't do anything about crime until you then were elected official and suddenly it's your fault. And I'm sure that you've heard venomous comments that have happened at this stage right here about different things taking place, and you had to go home and shake it off and say they're just upset. It wasn't personal because they're just upset about a certain situation. What I'm just saying, if anybody in the building understands this, is like, come on with PRM, the man who just stood up here and gave 50 years of his life. Bro, this city should be giving this dude a medal, right? For all the time that he has spent into this community. He hasn't ever. He's not costing this city a thing. They came and do this of their own. As a nonprofit starter myself of 15 years, do you really think I want to come to Newport News where the biggest stones will be thrown at me for making the biggest change? I am just asking you to think about all the ramifications. I mean, people sign petitions, I'm sure. But PRM, bro, we showed up. We came here to this event, and the deferral is disheartening, obviously. However, I just want it to be abundantly clear. No behind is red. No behind a closed door still is a no, and it'll be hurtful. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Stephanie Saris. Stephanie Saris.
Thank you very much. I'd like to defer my comments to the town hall in July. Thank you.
Well, you do understand you can speak at the town hall and speak at a council session.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the town hall it's just the second public hearing, July 25th, that you won't be able to speak again at. You can still talk at the town hall.
Sorry, just give us 1 sec. One sec.
If they have, if you
1
have a
second.
town hall meeting, it's not part of the public hearing.
Correct. They can still speak.
Yeah, they can still speak.
Councilman Harris was correct.
Correct. So just to reiterate, we can. All right. Just to reiterate, can you hear us? Yeah. No worries. So what we're saying is we would like to have a separate town hall about this. You can still speak at that town hall. That is separate than this, and then coming back to vote. That is what we're saying. So you can speak at the town hall, the public one. Feel free to speak here tonight. But when we come here in a month, because there's only one council meeting in the month of July, and we come back to vote, that is what we're saying. Either speak tonight or speak in a month. But there's going to be another event, a town hall just dedicated to that, and that's going to be probably longer and more involved. That's all that we were saying.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
No worries.
Thank you for the clarification.
No worries, we're here. That's why I'm here.
My name is Stephanie Burke-Saris. My address is 9310 Warwick Boulevard. I am the co-owner of Burke's Bookkeeping and Tax Service. I will be the next door neighbor of the ladies' shelter should this be passed. I probably am going to be the most impacted by this business because we literally share a parking lot. And I am 100% behind this effort, this endeavor. I believe that the need in this city, all over the city, all over our area, is grave for homeless women, unattached women. There are no services. There is nothing for them out there. And what they're planning to do is revolutionary and hopefully will lead to many more places to do the very same work all over the city in other cities in our area. And I implore you and hope that you will see their plans as they evolve and give them the chance to do this and allow them to put this location into play and to offer those services to the women in our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Merlin Mallory.
would like to defer my comments till the meeting in July.
Okay, thank you. Robert Mallory?
Honorable Mayor, Councilman, my name is Robert Mallory. I operate a business at 900 Bryfield Road in Newport News. It's a family business. We've been there for 76 years. I would like to speak to you on behalf of the Peninsula Rescue Mission tonight. I'm in favor of this use permit, and there's several things that I would like to speak about. I believe we all would agree that there is a need for this service to be performed in our community. I've been familiar with the rescue mission and their service for many years. I've supported their efforts. I've worked there from time to time, and it's a good organization. Having done this for many years, I've noticed that the rescue mission has learned many things, and they've learned how to truly provide for the needs that these homeless people have so that they will be able to break this cycle of homelessness and become independent and functioning. And that's impressed me. They have a desire to help these individuals, to help our community. They provide a safe place to get encouragement, to get support, to get training, counseling, to learn life skills that they need. It's not just an overnight thing. This is a program that they have. The participants have to be committed to it, to receive their help, to receive the benefit. They have to be willing to put forth the effort. The people at the mission have the knowledge to help. They have a heart of compassion to help. They need a place to provide this help. And I would ask you to approve this use permit to allow them to do this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lynette Simmons.
Good evening, Mayor.
Can you just stand closer
Stand
to
closer.
it? It's hard to hear.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
City Council. My name is Lynette Simmons, and I live at 920 Dunhill Way, Newport News, Virginia. I've been a resident for Newport News for about 24 years, and I volunteered at the Rescue Mission for about 20 years so far. I'm here to support the Rescue Mission Women's Ministry that was supposed to be voted on tonight. But the Peninsula Rescue Mission has been a self-sufficient part of housing for the homeless in Newport News for the last 66 years. I think that that should really speak for itself, that they've been self-sufficient and they just need your vote to open up the women's facility. They give men hot meals, a safe place to sleep, shower, clean clothes, listen ear. They give out food to the community. So they do so much more than just for the men, but they're opening it up to women. They do Camp Open Arms for the kids. And I just think it's a stellar group of people to volunteer for. Even so much so that I just accepted a position on their board last night. So I just want you to know that I know that there's going to be some opposition, but I want you to know that I actually emailed some petitions to your office today. These signatures was about 140 or so, and that was just in 2 days. So there's a lot of support out here from all of your districts for the support for the Rescue Mission's Women's Ministry. And the mission for this facility is to take people off the street and help them turn their lives around. You might ask who would be in support of the Peninsula Women's Ministry. The petitions that I emailed you today, they have names on them from pastors, business owners, realtors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, teachers, volunteers, dental office workers, veterinary office workers, retired military, property owners, property managers, healthy facilities, social workers, and taxpaying residents. And as a resident of Newport News and Peninsula Rescue Mission board member, I vote you say yes. even after since the meeting has been deferred. And give women a safe place that they can actually call home and love and support that they need from the volunteers and the staff of the Peninsula Rescue Mission.
Thank you. Joe Donatelli.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Peninsula Rescue Mission for a 4 vote. I want to talk about service in the community and my service with the mission. I relocated to the area in 1986. First home was in Colony Pines subdivision in Denby. As the family grew, we moved to the Peach Orchard neighborhood behind Menchville High School. And we had several of our children attend Newport News city schools, elementary, middle schools, and high schools. Throughout that period, we were supported by the local community and service organizations. We attended St. Jerome Catholic Church in Denby and currently attend Water's Edge Church in Newport News at J. Clyde Morris and Interstate 64. We've been involved with many organizations, Port Winter Program, LINK, the Chesapeake Retirement Community, youth organizations, foster care organizations across the peninsula. So we've seen service organizations. 2 years ago, as I retired from my career, my professional career, I started volunteering at the Rescue Mission. I've been serving faithfully breakfast every Monday and Wednesday at the Rescue Mission, and I've seen firsthand what we can do to make a difference for the men there. I wanted to get deeper involvement, and now I'm involved with the mentoring program, one-on-one mentoring with the guys. And that could be spiritual mentoring, inviting them to church. It could be having a safe zone discussion, building a relationship, helping them with business and finance. So all those kind of aspects to help them get regrounded. I wanted to get even further involved. And as of January, I'm on the board of directors of the Rescue Mission. I now see the strategic long-term vision of the mission. And that is clearly to have this women's group home get established on Warwick Boulevard at the address so that we can make a difference and continue to make a difference in the community. Men, women, all human beings. This peninsula is a great, great peninsula, a great place to live and work, and we ought to do something to change it and make a difference. And so I'm for the Rescue Mission and the women's group home. Thank you.
Thank you. David Nichols.
Good evening. My name is David Nichols, and I live at 21 Houghton Lane here in Newport News. I'm a very proud native of Newport News. I've lived all but 5 years of my 69 years within 7 miles of where my parents brought me home from the now former Riverside Hospital, which is now a parking lot, which actually is some 16 blocks from the Rescue Mission. I was a newly married 19-year-old in my second year at Christopher Newport College when I first learned of this new work downtown called the Peninsula Rescue Mission. The church both my wife and I were raised in, Denby Baptist, had shown early support, and we frequently got reports as to the progress of the mission in its earliest developments. My grandfather served on one of the early board of directors. My parents were very supportive and involved both in person as well as financially. My wife Debbie and I eventually got more involved in the work. Both of my daughters have and are involved in the work. And 2 years ago, my now 7-year-old and only grandchild worked to help fill Thanksgiving baskets, put together Christmas gifts. She even spent some time working with Mr. Troy over at the thrift store. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 5 generations involved in this work, with the best yet to come. I've served nearly 25 years on the board of directors, an opportunity to be up close and personal, as well as giving guidance and suggestions. It has been a wonderful and fast 25 years. The mission has and always will be a safe haven to those who are in need. For more than 57 years, it's a place for men to come in just as they are, mostly down on their luck or seeking a refuge. PRM addresses each person as a person, each one has a unique story, each one is dealt with as to their needs and assistance, working to put them back on their feet and back into life as productive citizens, supporting themselves, working to get with their families, and on and on. We have many success stories, but all of these have been about the men in our world. It's time that we offer the same opportunity to women in our city. What we're asking is to be able to do the same things for the women on this peninsula that have nowhere to go. Life is not what they thought it should be or would be. I've spoken to several Newport News guys and gals that serve so proudly on our great police force here in Newport News. They've told me countless stories of 18 to 29-year-old young ladies with nowhere to go. We would like the opportunity to reach these ladies with the same opportunities and help that we successfully succeeded in with men. We raised 2 daughters, one of which is still living here in Newport News. I cannot imagine what life would have been for them if they had no safe haven to go to have to fend for themselves. What we're offering is nothing new. Our track record speaks for itself. Please approve this so that we can make the next 50 years the lighthouse for both men and women. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael Hoyes.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council, people. Good to see you. I'm Michael Hoyes, Dr. Michael Hoyes. I'm part of the board of the Peninsula Rescue Mission. I've been serving there for about 6 years, and I just wanted to share with you some words. They're not my words. They're said many thousands of years ago, and I just want to share those words with you. Hopefully they will pierce your hearts as you come to this decision. Whatever the decision is, I hope these words speak to you. They're from Matthew 25, verses 34 to 40. Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me." Sorry, my sticky fingers have gotten to this pad. "I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go visit you?" The king will reply, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters, you did for me." Thank you.
Thank you. Tarika Griffin.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Tarika Griffin, and I reside at 3403 Scott Street in Portsmouth, Virginia, but born and raised in Newport News. I'm here to share with you all the impact that Peninsula Rescue Mission has had on me through Camp Open Arms. I've been involved with the Peninsula Rescue Mission for going on 30 years. As a child, I was forced to attend Camp Open Arms by my mother. Little did I know that this decision would impact my life forever. I was in an environment with campers that I didn't know and counselors that didn't look like me. But at this camp, I learned more about the gospel, good sportsmanship, and being creative. During a time that I had low self-esteem, Lindsay and Barbara Poteet would always remind me of how special I am and to shine my light. From my counselor's influence over the years, I aspired to be a leader and to also go on to college. I developed relationships with the staff and former counselors, my co-counselors, and campers that remain to this day. Being a counselor for 22 years has given me confidence, a sense of responsibility, passion, and leadership skills that help me to grow my own business, manage other businesses, and live a life of integrity. Now I am able to encourage other people through their walk of faith and develop our future leaders. Peninsula Rescue Mission has consistently shown that they are responsible, shown high integrity in their business practices and systems, and in their personal lives. Also have had a positive impact on men, women, and children in our community for decades. The rescue mission should be granted the space to create another environment where people can feel safe, protected, and cared for. I am blessed to be a part of what God has done and will continue to do through the mission. And thank you all for guiding me. to not be a product of my environment, to be a product for my environment.
DK.
Thank you, Mayor, for that personal invite. As you all heard him say, my name is DK, but my name is Devon Kelly. I run a nonprofit organization called Not My Child. I had the opportunity to work with the youth at that open arm camp about a couple of years ago. I got the chance to speak with some kids at that camp. One of those kids was struck by gun violence, and that kid remembered me from a viral prayer that I did for him. And that kid also said to me, could you just do one thing? Could you just ask them to stop? But as I was saying, I'm here on behalf of them, and I want to share something with you about what Jesus said. Jesus said, I was moved with compassion. And then he asked his disciples to pray, that we pray to the Lord, that the Lord of the harvest is plenty, and that we pray for the Lord to send forth laborers. If you look behind me, they're the laborers. And the community need these people to continue to do what they have been doing. And I stand with them, and I stand that they will continue to do what they do. And I'm in here, and like I said, I'm in here on behalf of them. As you all know, the connection that you see that I have with the mayor and other council, I have connection with these people here too. So with my personal connection and my connection with the community, there are women out here that need help. I believe they can rebuild and heal these women to be productive, be productive in our society as workers, consumers, and to be able to have their own family and one day have their own home in Newport News. Thank y'all for letting me speak.
Thank you, sir. Chanel Catchmore.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and distinguished council members. My name is Chanel Catchmore, and I am the founder and executive director of Catchmore Kids, a nonprofit that operates here in Newport News. Our office is in the Hilton area, and I'm also a Newport News resident. And I live near Four Oaks Day Services Center, and from all I know about it, it's amazing. It does exactly what it was designed to do during the day. I pass there every evening on my way home, and I see many homeless community residents sleeping outside existing living. And I get very concerned when I see women just about the safety, especially at night. I have stopped many times just to have conversations, just to help and provide basic things when I'm able to. And what I've also learned is that some of these women have children who are also displaced because of this homelessness, and that leaves these children impacted in so many different negative ways, and what they need to help make them whole and stable again is housing. And so this mission is a step in the direction to help make that happen. So Catchmore Kids stands behind this mission. We are willing to provide whatever services we're able to provide, with or without funding. As a community resident, I am able to step in and willing to provide and volunteer my personal time and energy and anything that I can bring to the table to help pour into these women so that they can become as great as they can be. Thank you.
Thank you. Edwin Antle.
Hello, my name is Edwin Antle, and I represent Waters Edge Church, 836 J. Clyde Morris Boulevard, and I'd like to defer my time.
Thank you. Angela Moore.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Angela Moore. I live at 1117 80th Street, Newport News. I've been a lifelong resident of Newport News for just a little over 50 years. And I just want to say thank you to the council members, Mayor Jones, for allowing me to come up tonight to voice my support for the opening of the women's group home in Newport News. The need is great for a place of refuge for these unaccompanied women who have nowhere else to go. I've had the privilege of volunteering at the Peninsula Rescue Mission now for 42 years. My dad let me come with him at the age of 8, and I began playing piano for the service our local church participated in once a month. My love for PRM continues to grow each time I go and serve there. On their website, they identify themselves as a beacon of hope to those experiencing homelessness and poverty on the peninsula. They're reaching the least, the last, the lost, those who have hit rock bottom and have nowhere else to turn. The physical and spiritual needs of these individuals are being met daily, and those needs are met independent of any government funds. They are solely supported by donations from the community. Those who enter the shelter doors are loved and cared for by the dedicated staff and group of volunteers. The main goal is to introduce these folks to Christ and then help them get back on their feet so they're once again able to support themselves and their families. But right now, this is isolated to just homeless men. I've really been thinking about exactly what I should say to you, the members of our city council, to give you some idea of why I support the opening of this women's group home. And my mind kept coming back to a couple things. First of all, were it not for God's amazing grace, I could be that unaccompanied homeless woman who desperately needed somewhere to go. A place where my physical needs would be met, a home-cooked meal, a hot shower, a warm bed to sleep in, a washer and dryer to wash my clothes and get them clean. And most importantly, my spiritual needs would be met. A place where the staff would love me, care for me, and not judge me for my past, but accept me for who I am at that moment. And a place to get back on my feet and back into the society. I'm a nurse at the Shipyard Clinic, and in April of last year, I started using my lunch break to walk from 39th Street to 25th Street and back. And I always passed a lady on the street around 36th Street. She would look like she had all of her personal belongings out there on the street with her. On the way into work, I'd see her. On the way for my lunch break, I'd see her. Going back to my car, I'd see her. She'd pick 2 or 3 different spots. And then one day, about 3 months ago, I saw the police officers out there with her, helping her get into their car with some of her belongings, and then the others they were throwing away. And I think every day now that I walk, what happened to her? I don't know. But I think, too, that if there was a group home like this, then she would have a place to go. And I wouldn't have to wonder where she is now. She'd be cared for spiritually and physically. And that's why I stand here tonight asking that all of you please support issuing a conditional use permit for this women's group home to be opened here in Newport News. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Carolyn Mincer.
I'm Carolyn Minster. I'm going to defer to July.
Paul Spike.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council members. My name is Paul Spate. I'm one of the pastors down the street at Hampton Roads Fellowship. We gather on the corner of 47th Street, Huntington Avenue, 10 blocks down the street from PRM. Prior to accepting the pastorate, I had the privilege of serving as the Director of Development at PRM. I wish I had the voice of Adrian, as we heard earlier. I served as the Director of Development from 2019 to 2022. Prior to that, I managed the Bayport Credit Union branch right across the street at 3700 Huntington Avenue. So both of my former CEOs are in the room tonight. I'm greatly appreciative for both these men. Both organizations are trying to work together to provide another need for this city. Both organizations have a combined 152 years of serving Newport News. And so you said, Mayor, earlier that homelessness is a multifaceted problem that requires a multifaceted solution. And to that, I just want to say that we don't have to have all the facets of the greater need covered to stop us from tackling the one that's right in front of us. During my time at the Rescue Mission, we identified a gap in the continuum of care here in the city of Newport News, specifically for unaccompanied females within the city. I sat through countless continuum of care meetings, the GVPHC meetings, just to observe and to learn. And as I shared about our vision as an organization, there was great excitement from every entity there because they know it's not one single organization that's going to meet all the problems of homelessness. And so I can confidently tell you that while PRM will not be able to cover all the needs in the city regarding homelessness, having been a volunteer there prior to my employment there, I can confidently say they will meet whatever need they can with the utmost excellence. It was Dr. Martin Luther King who once said about the story of the Good Samaritan that the first question the first two individuals who walked by, you may recall a priest and a Levite walked past a man in need, they each asked this question: if I stop to help this man, what will happen to me? But then the Good Samaritan came by and he reversed the question, asking instead, if I do not stop to help this man, what will happen to him? And so given your role in the City Council, I understand why you might be concerned and ask yourselves, if we stop to say yes to what PRM is asking, what will happen to us? But my admonishment to you, my encouragement to you today is to reverse the question yourselves, as the Good Samaritan did, and consider one more ultimate. If we do not stop and say yes, what will happen to these women? Thank you for your time.
Eugene Keller.
My name is Gene Keller. I live at 106 Prince William Road, Newport News. Mayor Jones, Vice Mayor Bethany, and council members, thank you for this opportunity to share my thoughts with you. I strongly recommend you approve the conditional use permit for the proposed women's group home. I am a supporter of the Peninsula Rescue Mission and have seen the positive impact the Rescue Mission has had with many of the men who have sought their help and support. I live in the Denby-Jefferson area of Newport News. Last year I noticed an increase in the number of men and women who are panhandling from the medians at busy intersections. It was an unsafe situation, and I think the signs that the city has put up discouraging drivers from giving money was the right thing to do. Now some have moved to less congested areas. I say this to acknowledge there is a homeless population that is living somewhere in the shadows. I grew up in a family with strong parental support and guidance, and I'm thankful to God that I have always had a roof over my head and food to eat. I have never walked in the shoes of those who were not as fortunate as me. Several weeks ago, my wife's two sisters were visiting. I was discussing with them the Rescue Mission's goal of having a women's group home to complement their men's shelter. I asked my sisters-in-law if they were in the situation of being homeless, what would be their primary concern? And they said, a secure place to stay where they could concentrate on getting their life back in order. And that is exactly what the goal of this home will provide. A safe harbor where they can hold up for a period of time and receive compassion, guidance, and discouragement. The Peninsula Rescue Mission is not asking to be the only organization with the goal of helping women rehabilitate their lives. Any organization can step up to the plate and try to make a difference in the lives of women who have fallen on difficult times and circumstances. It would be wonderful if there were additional facilities in the downtown area as well as in the Denby area. We're just not limited to, we can only have one area that can help women. The Rescue Mission has been an asset to our city and the mission, and their mission of helping men, and I'm sure they will do the same in their help for women. Please approve the conditional use permit for the group home. Thank you.
Thank you. It says Lloyd goes by Wallace Wallace. That's what it says.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, my name is Wallace Sink. I'm a resident of the city of Newport News, residing at 1002 Old Denby Boulevard in Newport News. I've been a resident of the city of Newport News for the last 82 years.
I think you deserve a clap.
So I think I know a little bit about what's going on. I am a big supporter of PRM. They change lives. They don't just offer food and shelter for a night or a week. Their mission is to change people's lives so that they can go on and become productive citizens and self-supporting. I'm sure you've all, as the gentleman before me said, you've noticed more and more women, single women, standing on the median strip panhandling at a busy intersection. It's dangerous, and it's not good for the image of our city. And I'm sure you also know about the homelessness situation in the larger cities, how it breeds crime, drug use in public. Stores are closing, businesses are leaving. We don't want that in this city. We want to change the lives of people so that they can be productive citizens. And I ask that you support this conditional use permit. Thank you.
Thank you. Tim Mears.
Mayor, council members, my name is Jim Mears. I live at 6012 Spinnaker Cove Court, Suffolk, Virginia, and I am the president and CEO of Bayport Credit Union. And as most of you know, we operate a branch right across the street from the Peninsula Rescue Mission there on Huntington Avenue. We've been there 40 years. The last 40 years that they've been there, we've operated a full-service financial institution right across the street from the rescue mission. So we are a business that has helped the Peninsula Rescue Mission. As you saw, one of our former branch managers was here to support them. We have many team members at that branch that support the Peninsula Rescue Mission through either volunteering, fundraising, or bringing in supplies for the men. We are in full support of this Rescue Mission's group home. And I just wanted you to know that. If any of you have questions about having to operate a business right across from the Peninsula Rescue Mission and how good of neighbors they've been, please contact me. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Faith DeFries.
Good evening, Mayor Jones, councilmen, councilwomen. My name is Faith DeFries, and I work at the Mission at 3700 Huntington Avenue in Newport News. Thank you for allowing me to speak to you this evening. I have the honor of being the granddaughter of the founder of the Mission, the daughter of the former director, and the wife of the current director. The Mission has been part of my entire life. I have worked there since I was 16 years old. I got my degree in accounting from Christopher Newport, and I would leave classes at CNU and drive to the Mission to put into practice what I had learned. For the last 3 years, I have also been the volunteer coordinator. Tonight, we are asking you to approve our request for the conditional use permit to operate a women's ministry. Some might say that opening a women's ministry will increase the homeless crisis, but I believe the exact opposite is true. We will be giving shelter and help to up to 20 ladies at a time. Ladies who are currently living in tents, in abandoned buildings, and any other place they can find. One lady shared with me that she keeps her hair short and dresses to look like a man, hoping she will not be accosted. That is their reality. As the volunteer coordinator, I speak with many people in the community who want to help. We have an army of volunteers behind us. Last year, we had over 2,400 volunteer slots filled. I had a lady last week offer to teach knitting and crocheting to our ladies. Another with a master's in learning experience, design, and educational technology has offered to volunteer her time to help us design an e-learning training program to help our residents learn necessary basic computer skills. Still another lady who has a doctorate in education technology reached out to see how she could help. Our neighbors at Burke's Bookkeeping have agreed to help us teach basic personal finance. Just last week, I received a call from a gentleman who wanted to bring dinner and serve our residents. What's amazing is I had just had a conversation with our kitchen manager about ordering pizza for dinner on Sunday because we were going to be short-staffed. I shared that with the gentleman who was excited to buy, pick up, and come and serve pizza to our residents. I thanked him for his kindness to us, and he said this: "Not long ago, I was injured and out of work, and you gave me a place to stay. You took good care of me, and now I want to give back." We look forward to having stories like that to share of women's lives that will be impacted positively by our ministry. My husband shared a verse with me this morning from Psalm 68. God settles the solitary in a home. And this is what we believe he is calling us to do, to help the unaccompanied women find a home. And so we're asking you to stand behind the recommendation of approval from the city planners and the unanimous recommendation of approval from the Planning Commission. Please approve our request for the conditional use permit and stand with us, with those who have no one to stand with them, and allow us to help so many women in the years to come. Thank you.
Todd Budlong.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to defer my comments for the July 25th meeting, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alan DeFries.
Good evening. I would also like to defer my comments.
Kyle Thomas Hawes, Jr.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. I would like to defer my comments to July 25th this week.
Renee, thank you.
Thank you.
Renee Faison.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Renee Faison. I live on 34th Street in Newport News. I've been a resident most of my life. I volunteer with my church's outreach ministry, the Empowerment Zone in Hampton, Virginia, and have been doing that for at least 4 to 5 years. This great work of PRM is asking for a place to house and help people. Why do they have to beg to help their own kind? If our city allocates monies to help animals and builds shelters for them, what about people who desperately are in need? I'm not against animals, just FYI. PRM has been pleading with our city leaders to let them help people who need it. So please, let them. Instead of PRM asking the city to let them help these women who need help, the city should be asking PRM, how can we help you accomplish your goal of helping others? Thank
you. Next will be Joshua Piper.
Good evening. My name is Joshua Piper. I live at 750 Casey Terrace in Newport News, Virginia. Thank you, Mayor and council members, for having us. I am in favor of the Peninsula Rescue Mission. We've heard countless testimonies already, many of them sharing the specific need. I currently live in Newport News, but I work in Smithfield, Virginia, and I travel down Warwick Boulevard every single morning and evening, and so I go right past the building that's in question. And I can tell you that when I'm going down the road at 5:30 in the morning and it's still dark, I see women just on the street. As a citizen, I don't want that image in our city. As a human, I don't want that for anybody. As a Christian, I need to do something. And so that's why I want to be part of the rescue mission. But not only do we have a need, and I think it's been well articulated better than what I can do, but I do want to point out we have mortgage rates that are the highest we've seen in decades. We see house prices continue to go up despite rising mortgage rates. We see inflation at record rates for multiple years now. What do we think is going to happen to the homeless problem right now because of those things? It's going to continue to increase. So when we talk about the Peninsula Rescue Mission, I understand the business owner's concern, but are we really going to say that it's because of the rescue mission that problem is going to increase? I think it's the economic situation that's going to cause more of a problem. And so the question is, what are we as a city going to do about it? What that lady just said and asked, I think that's the perfect question. What are you all going to do to help the Peninsula Rescue Mission build a home for these women to not only stay there for a night, stay there for multiple nights, get themselves back on their feet, find employment, and get back in a situation where they can handle their own lives and be responsible citizens yet again. I personally volunteer my time at the Rescue Mission, and I have seen many men who have gone through the program there, have become successful, get back on their feet, get homes, get jobs long-term. And it is amazing to see and to hear their testimonies, but we don't have any for the women right now. And I want to see that for the Rescue Mission and for this city, and I think we can make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you. So before, it's going to be, Thomas Lockwood's going to be next, but I do want to say something. So as mayor, most of the time is spent doing external facing things, and so we don't internally count votes, but the vice mayor, he whips the votes, and so I've just been told that we are going to vote on this tonight. So what we need to do is there's people that were in order who did not get a chance to speak, okay? So I'm going to allow those individuals to go, but before we do, the current order that I have is Thomas Lockwood, Alan Tanner, Emma Lockwood, Deborah Jones. Those are the ones that I'm going to do, and then afterwards, if you want to come after, if like Tim and others had come, just to make it fair, okay? We're going to make sure everyone who came down gets the ability to speak, but from the will of council, it's been decided that we are going to vote here tonight, so we'll go with Thomas Lockwood. And then after Deborah Jones, that's when we'll go in that reverse order. So it'll be Thomas Lockwood, Alan Tanner, Emma Lockwood, Deborah Jones, and we'll start with Tim.
Hello, my name is Thomas Lockwood. I live at 1403 Marsh Run Circle in Portsmouth, Virginia. First, thank you all for letting me be here and letting us all speak and for you to listen. While I live in Portsmouth, I've actually been working out of Newport News as a mechanical design engineer for about the last 5-6 years. And on my drive home, I see panhandlers regularly. And in fact, I saw one on my way here today. And they're always standing right next to the sign that says, please don't give to panhandlers, please give to an agency or a charity. And that begged the question, all right, who should I be giving to? And so I went and I did my research and I landed on PRM because they have a proven track record. Now, with respect to the council, and this has kind of been addressed, but there was mention of it being a multifaceted problem. And while I appreciate the fact that we're going to do a vote tonight, I greatly appreciate that. I want to push back slightly on the multifaceted issue because I don't believe it is for a very specific reason. PRM is fully privately funded by me and all these other people. There is no risk to the government. We are doing this because it is our passion, it's our mission, it's our funds. To be told that the idea of helping these homeless women is and should remain illegal, because that's what it is without this permit. That's the whole reason why we're here. It breaks my heart. Furthermore, with the assertion that PRM, by opening its mission, would somehow increase homelessness in the area is absurd. It defies the documented track record and history of PRM, and it defies basic math. When PRM is devoted to ending homelessness for people, that number goes down. It doesn't go up. PRM does not create homelessness. Also, for context, we are talking about 20 women at a time at this facility. There is no way that these people that oppose this mission would be able to tell if 20 people left or arrived on the streets. if that's what they're concerned about, they honestly need to revisit their priorities, because PRM is not the problem. It is not the source of the problem. It is part of the solution. Now, the question would be, why only 20? Because again, we are self-funded. If anything, if those that oppose this mission are truly concerned about the threat of growing homelessness, then if anything, I encourage them to get behind PRM, to support them in opening more missions, to hire more staff, to help more people. We're only trying to help 20 people at a time, but to those 20 people, it will be life-changing. So, with all that being said, I appreciate the council's decision to vote tonight, and I strongly urge a vote yes now. Thank you.
Alan Tanner, then Emma Lockwood, then Deborah Jones, then Tim Trent.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
Members of council. I'm Alan Tanner, and I applaud your decision to move forward on this quickly. I was really in support of the deferral because it will give time for the business community who's vested down here, the owners of property down here, to help fund this project and to fund it with private funds and not city funds. I recently bought the chapel at St. Paul's Square. It's formerly the St. Paul's Church. I want that church to be a beacon of light down here, to move forward with the entire redevelopment of our downtown area. While he has me beat, he's been here 82 years, I've been here 73. And I want to help fund this. Our success, their success are all tied together. And it's time to get started. I would ask one favor, if you could, to have a town hall meeting, not necessarily about this project, but the current situation downtown Newport News and how it is affected by the homelessness, by the lack of faith. I want this to be a place where you can live, work, play, and pray. And that's why I bought that church, to bring this to light, to have a place for a town hall meeting. It's a fabulous sanctuary. It's got a great history of community support through the Stylberg family. And I just thank you for moving forward. And I look forward, hopefully, to that town hall meeting you might still want to have to talk about some of these other issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Emma Lockwood. And as Emma comes up, so we are going to start the next cycle of mayor town halls and sort of council town halls, and this can be a sort of one of the topics. We all on council, and we're going to talk about it in my closing comments. We had our retreat that talks about the 5, 10, 20-year vision of city council last Friday, and that doesn't happen without citizen refinement. So thank you. Emma.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, thank you for your time and attention this evening. My name is Emma Lockwood. I'm a resident of 1403 Marshwind Circle in Portsmouth, Virginia. Growing up in my hometown of Fayetteville, North Carolina, I witnessed a massive homelessness problem. Panhandling signs similar to what we see posted around Newport News encourage Fayetteville residents to support local entities that targeted helping the homeless people instead of giving directly to the homeless. Unfortunately, I saw too many instances of these entities only providing short-term relief, not long-term solutions. This further compounded the homelessness problem that was racking my hometown. When my husband initially suggested that we start supporting PRM, I'm ashamed to admit I was opposed due to the past failures that I had witnessed growing up. However, I was wrong about PRM. They have been successfully addressing the homeless problem for almost 70 years, giving the people a chance to become thriving members of the Hampton Roads community. As stated before, PRM is a privately funded, operated entity. PRM, in opening this group home, is taking on all the risks and failures, not the City Council, not the City of Newport News. This is not a quantity discussion, but a targeted quality discussion, which, based on PRM's decades of success, shows that they understand providing quality, life-changing help specifically to the homeless, but in addition to the women that they want to serve. City Council, the fact of the matter is, whether you vote yes or no tonight, we are all in this room going to go back to our dry, air-conditioned homes. This is a luxury that these homeless women PRM is trying to serve does not have. PRM is a proven part of the solution to homelessness. And because of that, I urge you guys to please vote yes in granting the permit. Thank you.
Thank you. Deborah Jones.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Deborah Jones, and I live at 307 Center Avenue in Newport News. And it's been mentioned several times, but although the Planning Commission has approved their request for the property selected to house the women, we are here in this evening seeking your vote for approval. As a former employment services worker with Newport News Human Services, I served on the SCAN committee, which stands for Service Coordination and Assessment Network, which is a subcommittee of the Greater Virginia Peninsula Homelessness. The committee discussed and assessed the overall problem of homelessness, but did not address the specific needs of unaccompanied women. I was not familiar with the term unaccompanied homeless women until I contacted Faith with Peninsula Rescue Mission to inquire about their proposal for a women's ministry group home. I then Googled the term and learned that it is homeless single women who are not caring for children or other dependents. I also checked with some of my peers in social work, but they were not familiar with the term either. I recently completed a doctoral dissertation on bridging the gap to economic self-sufficiency for TANF participants. I spent several years of research on this topic and found volumes of material on women and children, including the overwhelming reality of homelessness that exists among them. Yet, I don't recall coming across any information concerning homeless women without children. Nonetheless, when we look around our city, there are plenty homeless women without children on our streets. Just a few days ago, I saw a lady not far from where I live in Hilton Village who appeared to be homeless standing on Warwick Boulevard, wearing what appeared to be two sets of clothing, one dress over another dress, and she had a shopping cart filled with other items that I assume were her personal belongings. This is only one example, but through the years, I have seen plenty examples of unaccompanied homeless women in our city. But like many other people, I felt bad for them, but there was nothing I could do to help them. The recent study I found described these women are generally older than the typical homeless women with children. And they are oftentimes more vulnerable, much more vulnerable, than the other homeless groups, such as youth and single men. For these reasons, we are asking you, I'm a part of the group asking you, City Council members, Mayor Jones, to vote yes for Peninsula Rescue Mission's request to go forward with their vision to provide a safe place and an opportunity for these women to live meaningful and safe lives.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all the speakers. Now we're going to go back through the list if anyone wants to, who didn't get to speak. I think we'll start with Tim. That's all I have, and then just come up sort of.
I have a list of the 7.
Okay, perfect. Tim, you go first. Thank you, Colin.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. My name is Tim Trant, attorney with Kaufman and Knowles, office at 11815 Fountain Way here in the city of Newport News. It's my privilege to be here on behalf of PRM tonight. As most of you all know, everything about PRM has been said, and so I will try to offer you some new information for the public, and talk a little bit about the details of the program. The site would house not only the women's ministry, but also PRM's corporate offices. The corporate office will be located on the 3rd floor. The women's ministry, which is what we call the facility, would be located on the 1st and 2nd floors. Limited to 20 unaccompanied women, no children, no significant others, designed to help residents become sustainably self-reliant with stable housing and employment when they leave our facility. No walk-ins would be accepted. Prospective residents would be identified through PRM's extensive referral network and nonprofit partners. They'd be interviewed virtually or in person off-site. Residents would be subject to background checks and drug screening. Residents must be committed to a long-term self-sufficiency program, minimum of 60 days, no longer than 2 years. Program will include education, counseling, training in spirituality, hygiene, emotional well-being, employment, budgeting, nutrition, and exercise. Days will be structured generally from 8 to 5. All meals will be provided on-site. Van service will be available for residents to get to appointments and job interviews and off-site training. It's a secure facility with a 10 p.m. curfew. The only way you can get in is with a badge or convince the receptionist during business hours that you belong there. There will be 2 staff members resident in the facility, 24-hour staff. Out of respect for the concerns that have been expressed by some of the businesses in the area, which we appreciate and understand are quite valid, not necessarily concerns that we're going to contribute to, but concerns nonetheless that are valid. We have proposed an additional condition, which the council can review to try to address those concerns. If we're blessed to have your support, we will be a property owner and have to deal with those same problems. If a conventional business goes here, nothing about this problem will change. If we go here, there is a chance that it might change and get better. I ask for your support tonight. Thank you.
Tim, I have a question. Can you explain what happens if someone knocks on the door and they're not on the waiting list? What happens then?
Sure. They would be referred to partner agencies that could help them. I mean, it depends on their situation and what qualifications they would have, if they would be eligible for, if it's a male person that knocks on the door, they'd be referred to our men's shelter or other shelters in the area. If it's a female that knocks on the door, they would be referred potentially to the Minchville House or other places that could offer care and shelter for them. If they're interested in enrolling in our facility, they would be given a phone number that they could call and refer to one of our partner agencies for help with the intake.
Okay. I do have a question. What is that additional condition? You mentioned, what was the additional one?
Sure. And I'm not sure the exact wording that ultimately made it through the city attorney's office.
It should be number 11 on the revised
I'll
use permit in front of
we'll
you.
speak, Councilman Long, if you would like, to the substance of it and what we understand and are aware that, again, if we're blessed to receive your support, we will share in some of these same impacts. Is an increase in vagrancy in the area, resulting in vandalism and a lot of refuse of local of property in that area, business property. And so what we wanted to make sure people understood is that's, we're going to be having those same challenges, and we wanted to make a commitment that our property, our patch of dirt, will not be a refuge for that sort of behavior, that we will keep it in good order and repair, that loitering will be prohibited on our site. The only outdoor sort of loitering that can go on will be for our residents and our employees in a screened area at the back of the facility that wouldn't be visible from, adjacent properties and public right-of-way. So we wanted that's how we've always represented we would operate the facility, but we wanted to let our neighbors know that we stand with them in maintaining, a quality operation at that location. And we hope to uplift the appearance of the area and property values, not contribute to the problems they're facing.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Tim.
Yes, sir.
City Attorney, you, the list of 7.
Yes, there were. After Mr. Tramp was Merlin Mallory.
Thank you. My name is Merlene Mallory, 900 Briarfield Road, Newport News, Virginia. Like my husband said earlier, we've owned and managed a business in Newport News for over 70 years. Been affiliated with the Peninsula Rescue Mission for many years and found it to be a place we can support as they try to help those who are in need on the peninsula. During my visits, I find the PRM to be clean, safe, well-maintained. As the need for this women's group home became more apparent to the board at PRM, they began to recognize the need that they need some women to serve on the board. Alan approached me and asked if I'd be interested in helping as they begin this project. I accepted. I'm excited to be on the board, to be a part of the Peninsula Rescue Mission. I'm excited about this program. I think it's going to be a good work. And I'm just proud to be a part of it and humbled to be asked to be a part of it. Everybody, most people have compassion for the homeless. I mean, I go by and see somebody on the side of the street, especially a lady, and I wonder in my mind, what's her story? How does she get here? I wonder what I could do to help her. And then you want to give money, but you don't know whether to give money or not because you feel like it might not be used in the right way. But in your heart, you want to do something. You want to try to help these people. And I think that's what PRM's trying to do. We have a multifamily business in Hampton, and we set out a big box in the office there. We asked the tenants, if you want to give food for the PRM at Thanksgiving or gifts at Christmas time. I'm amazed. I mean, they want to fill the box over and over and over because people want to help. They want to help people. And we got to give them an opportunity. And so the goal of the women's group, like they've said before, we're going to take 20 women. We're going to try to mentor them from homelessness to independent, productive lives. The women will be learning life skills that's going to help them get a job, live independently. We all know it's not an overnight stay, but it's a program that's going to help them get back on their feet and into society. I'm so proud just to be a part of PRM, and I'm thankful for the opportunity, and I would ask you to please vote for this proposal so we can move forward and do the work that we want to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next one would be Edwin Antle.
Good evening. My name is Eddie Antle with Waters Edge Church in 836 J. Clyde Morris Boulevard in Newport News, and I'm one of the pastors at Waters Edge Church and have been for over 11 years, and I'm an outreach director as well for the past 6 years or so. And our church represents in Newport News alone thousands of members, both attending in person and online at our church. And over the years, we've spent thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in the city of Newport News from various programs, and have been longtime supporters of the Peninsula Rescue Mission and longtime believers in their mission and what they do in the long-term sustainability of the members and the men that they serve, and how the quality of life increases for those they serve afterwards as well. And I just wanted to speak to one thing. There's been plenty of reasons why we should support a Peninsula Rescue Mission for women in our area. But I just thought about the question of why the location close to Hilton Village? Why there? And often I believe it's easy for me, even at J. Clyde Morris Boulevard, it's easy for me to sometimes sweep things under the rug, because I don't see it so often. Now, occasionally there's a gentleman out at 7-Eleven there at J. Clyde and 64, but I don't often see it. And so the point is that it brings it a little bit more to an area that's a little bit more well-off, a little more well-to-do. I have several friends in the Hilton Village area, and it's a very nice area, beautiful area. And the point is that when we see a Peninsula Rescue Mission in that area, it reminds us of the need in our community, and that reminds us that we can do something about it as well. And so that's why it would need to be in that area specifically. I've heard time and time again why we need it, and that's fantastic, and we absolutely need it. I think the opposition even agrees that it's needed, but it's actually needed in the specific area that it is being proposed to be in as well. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Carolyn Mentor.
I'm Carlin Mincer. I own 780 Pilot House and 181 Herman Melville, but I am here tonight because I've had the distinct honor of helping the rescue mission with their search to find a new location for the future home of the women's shelter. I was born and raised in Newport News. I'm a graduate of a Newport News high school. I got my first job making twist cones at Monty's Penguin right across from the site. Proud Monty's Penguin fan. I was a part of putting together the Hilton Fall Festival for over 10 years. I watched both my siblings play at Parkview Little League, 1,000,000 games on Saturdays, and sweated with the rest of the people. I used to watch fireworks right up the street every July 4th. And what I have not experienced as a woman in Newport News is sleeping on the side of Ward Boulevard. All of that to say, I'm incredibly familiar with this location. I did not take my responsibility lightly in helping them with their search. I can say with confidence that this location was a weighted factor in their search. It came with a lengthy consideration and conversation. Of course, in a perfect world, they would not need another location. There would not be this need for women in our city. We could know that families and friends would open their homes and have the care and ability to transition these women back into our community with confidence. Unfortunately, that's not the reality we're living in. The Peninsula Rescue Mission has decades of experience in not only serving the homelessness of those impacted by poverty, but they also have a proven track record of assisting life change and long-term solutions. The rescue mission will be moving forward with the partnership of many local faith-based organizations, other nonprofits, and of course, all of us in the community. We all have a common goal to support homeless women in rejoining our community, and with the utmost confidence that they will be able to look back, and all of us will be honored to have been part of the process of the solution of making our city a story of progress. I truly hope that the next time we are standing here before you, it is to find a new use for this building, because there's no longer a need for homeless women in our city to support. But until that day comes, I would encourage you to vote yes.
Todd Budlong.
Todd Budlong. Okay, next one.
Alan DeFries.
Good evening, Mayor Jones and councilmen, councilwomen. I want to thank you so much for enduring this long hearing, and I can't say enough in gratitude for the tremendous outpouring of support from behind me. It's overwhelming. I would like to open with a scripture. In 1 Timothy chapter 2, Paul reminds the young pastor, Timothy, to pray for kings and all who are in high positions. And I want each of you to know that my staff our board of directors, and our donors regularly pray for you. We appreciate your service to our community, and we attempt to understand the weight of the difficult decisions that you have to make. It became very clear to us that the next way we were to serve our community was by ministering to women who are alone, unaccompanied women. And I truly am so very sorry for the frustrating situation that the local business owners face in dealing with homelessness in the area where our building is proposed. But I must point out that I don't believe any of that is caused by PRM, nor will the proposed women's ministry add to those frustrations. Our program, as you've already heard, will be a highly structured, supervised program with a very high level of accountability. We are huge on personal responsibility. There is not a scenario in our program where women will be turned out day or night to just roam the streets. There's a strict curfew, and all of our women will be sheltered inside our facility every night. And while they are with us, we will provide them with every resource available to prepare them for life on their own. And every step of the way, we will teach them and remind them how valuable and precious they are to their Creator, and the importance of walking with Him for the remainder of their days. As they complete the program, the last thing that we will get to do for them is to move them into their new home, a home that they will have picked out themselves, a home that they will have worked for and that they will have paid for with their own money. And you will have the great joy of knowing that you played a part in the redemption of that woman's life. And the community stands clearly ready to fund this project. And all we ask for, and I cannot thank you enough for moving the vote back to tonight, we just ask for your approval so that we can get to work doing what God has called us to do.
The last would be Kyle Thomas Hawes.
Kyle Thomas Hawes, Jr.
Good evening, City Council.
Good evening.
Mayor, Council ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kyle Thomas Hawes, Jr., and out of my 60 years of living, I've only been in Newport News 50 years, but I aspire to be like the man who was here earlier at 82. I reside at 19 Flax Mill Road in Newport News, Virginia. My office building is 9286 Warwick Boulevard. While I have enjoyed all the testimonies that have been given this evening by all the people in this room, I am opposed to this. I want to be clear about that. I've invested my life savings in my building. I do not think that zoning or the location of this property is right. I do have a question to ask the city attorney. When Bayport transfers this paperwork in the form of a deed over to Peninsula Rescue Mission, is it a sale or is it a donation? And then
I'm not aware of the terms of their contract.
Okay. The next question. Will this come off the tax records and cost the taxpayers of the city of Newport News over $13,000 a year? Anybody have an answer? Okay. Those are questions that, to me, make some sense of this matter. I believe that what they want to do is correct, but not at this location. I would ask y'all to consider tabling this, like we said earlier today, for the city meeting that you had talked about, and vote on it on July 25th. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one concern, and that is that Mr. Todd Budlong was promised he would be able to speak on July 25th, and he came in and deferred and then apparently left. So if we close the public hearing, he won't be able to speak, despite what he was told.
I think
we're going to vote on it tonight.
Yeah, I was about to
We're
say.
going to vote on it tonight.
Because he can still
Okay.
talk on the
No,
Well, I think it's
it doesn't matter.
important to acknowledge that we know that he was supposed to, but it didn't make a difference in my vote.
Copy. I'll say it in my comment.
Okay.
Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
It is moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I will say,
Yes.
oh,
Go
go
for
ahead.
it.
And sorry, isn't this discussion about just closing the public hearing? Not the actual motion?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, that's right.
So
I'll
we're just,
save it.
right now we're just voting to close the public hearing. Okay, any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick. 4. Councilwoman Woodbury.
4.
Vice Mayor Bethany.
4.
Councilman Ely.
4.
Councilman Harris.
4.
Mayor Jones.
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
Move adoption.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I would like to say this. It's encouraging that for all the supporters that came down here tonight, that means there's so many more supporters that will help the city resolve this issue of homelessness. I know there was concerns about the issue that's not related to Peninsula Rescue Mission, and there's valid concerns. I think we have all these people in the room that will come down to the town hall to voice their concern and help us with the strategy on how we will attack the homeless transient population. But one of the things that really stuck to me is someone in the room talked about the vulnerable women on the street that need the shelter, and that really means a lot from a standpoint of sex trafficking, about women that are being taken advantage of, and we do need to have shelter and housing for those women to make sure they can be in a safe environment and then have that second opportunity. Because all the programs are all about having a second opportunity, and I think everyone's about having a second opportunity. But the second layer of the shelter is the women that need that protection from predators that are out there looking for them. Especially, I think one gentleman said 4 Oaks Center, that's a target area. They know where to come to look for these women, and that really stuck to me. So I'm in all favor of this move for us to vote in favor of the Peninsula Rescue Mission tonight.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, we'll go in order, and then I'll speak last.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. The stories were very encouraging, very familiar to my household. My mom was over the Women Self-Esteem Program in Newport News Jail. She volunteered for 13 years. And I swear for those 13 years, about 20 different ladies laid and stayed on our couch. My mom always said, John, this is not our house, it's the Lord's house. And I never understood that when I was young, but to this day, so many women that she's helped, they just needed that opportunity that makes love, that makes measure to get ahead in life. And every lady that stayed at our house, they're doing good, and they're in the same mission around the United States. So I'm definitely in favor and support of this hard work, because it's special people that's called by God to do this work, because some of these ladies don't choose to get here. Some of them are here by force, and they want to do better. It's just sometimes they need that extra hand and that opportunity. So I just thank all of you that came out here to spoke on this nice Tuesday. They take time out of your schedule to come advocate for so many women, not just the Newport News, but across the Hampton Roads area. So I really appreciate you. Thank you for your time.
Councilman Bear.
I just wanted to say that I know that Mr. Todd Budlong was going to speak against it. And I want to acknowledge that, and anybody else who was going to speak against it would not have changed my mind, because I'm going to vote for it, and I'm going to support it.
I just have to say, I've been on the council for 14 years, and this has been one of the most inspiring meetings that I've had, because, and I'm a little emotional, because to be able to know that people care. You all in the audience care about the population. I also started a nonprofit, Women's Empowerment Development, where we work with the young girls in the community that some of them do not have a stable home to be able to get the all of the things they need in life, knowing the importance of education, saying no to drugs, and just understanding about creating a work ethic for yourself. And so I do understand the importance of it, because sometimes at some people's dinner table, if there is a dinner table, there is not that conversation. So I understand the importance of your work and the fact that the Peninsula Rescue Mission has done an excellent job in our city. I'm looking forward to the support, and with Attorney Trent, I just really appreciate And of course, we'll want to support this project. Thank you.
Yes, I'm just be brief because I've been on council for going on 7 years now. We always had people come in to talk about our homeless situation here in the city. And I know we put together some years ago the Day Center. But this is something that I know Dr. Woodbury talked about it quite a bit going back to when the Day Center opened, is how can we do something for them overnight for that population? And I'm encouraged by this. I'm in support of it. And I would hope this is a catalyst to being able to provide more resources in the future, that we could have more than just 20, that we could be able to facilitate a resource that they could continue to be fed, be able to have shelter, and all those things that they've lacked in the community. And I am in favor of it, will be in favor of it, and I look forward to how this will be able to impact us moving forward. That's all I have. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
I think the first thing I start off with is thank you so much, everyone, for coming out. Councilman Ely stated this is a Tuesday night. You could be doing anything else, but you were here because you were passionate about serving, and that does not go unnoticed, especially because I used to be a missionary. My last assignment was in Malawi, which is right under Tanzania. And so I say that to say, if anybody understands the work that needs to go into something like this, it is myself. Not only that, but working the soup kitchens, making sure all of our homeless populations were taken care of. And so again, I hear everything, and I'm with you 1,000%. And clearly, it's going to pass. It sounds like you got the votes there, but I also want to throw this charge out there, because even the folks that are against it, they are not against supporting the women or homeless in general. So I just ask that you all think of ways to use this energy to support them. Whether it's in prayer, whether it's with resources, because it can. We know what fear can do. And so if you own a business, and whether you know all the facts or not, that fear could be real. And so I say that to say we can still support them and find ways to support them continuously. And so I just hope that we use this energy that is here tonight and make sure that we are looking at the bigger picture, which involves everyone, including the businesses. So I'm inspired tonight. I mean, for this we've been 6 months in, and I think this has been hands down the most inspired I've been in a long time, especially listening to the residents, because again, everyone in this room cares. So I just want to say thank you, and look forward to working with everyone in the community. That's it.
And I'll be brief. I think we have 15 more items to discuss here tonight. I think we have 15. So a few things. We are still about 6 months into this sort of new administration, and so I will call Mr. Bloodlone tonight or tomorrow to make sure. I think in the future, if it is going to be deferred, it was put out, but it should have been put out earlier. So we can do that. And make sure that doesn't happen again. The second thing, I think my perspective is a little bit different than the others in the sense that, and let me be clear, I'm also going to vote in favor, but I'm the only one that is elected at large, and so I think it's important that I talk about the entire city and sort of what has been done. Not only am I the only one elected at large, but I'm the only one that lives in Hilton Village, okay? It's very easy to find my house. There's a giant Marine Corps flag. You can't miss it, okay? When I speak to the issue being multifaceted, I think it's a balance of how do you, as the son of two pastors and missionaries, how do you care for the least of these, with also the balance of, for in Hampton Roads over the last 20 to 30 years, when you look at homelessness, there's been a task force that's been created. Just like in Hampton Roads, we have a regional approach to aviation, to the HRT, HR TAC. Like it was decided for violent crime, it was decided years ago that we were going to look at homelessness as a regional issue. And so there's always been discussions about the reason for there not being a standalone sort of homeless shelter, if that's the right term, was that it would attract others from different communities. Okay, I think that the work, and I went and visited a few weeks ago. I think the work is very inspiring, even though there is a bunch of Army people and not Navy, right? My concern, and I'm glad, I think I had more people here than at my mayor's town hall, and so I want to say that this is more than just this vote tonight. This is it has to be a long-term commitment. Just like we're going to be checking up on Four Oaks and other things. Yes, there's no city money going into it, but it is important that as you look at the brand of Newport News, it cannot become a city where everyone we have to balance a lot of things, and I just want to be mindful of that. So it is, as we look at all stakeholders, external, internal, business, Riverside, etc., we have to make sure that we are continuing to do this work, which I think is very, very important, and to make sure that we address the least of these. So I think we've said everything needs to be
I
said.
just wanted to clarify, that was the motion to adopt for the revised?
Correct. We're doing that proffer, Tim. We're doing that one condition.
The additional.
The additional proffer. Correct. That's my understanding. Call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury.
4.
Vice Mayor Bethany.
4.
Councilman Ely.
4.
Councilman Harris.
4.
Mayor Jones.
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. So I. We're going to have a 5-minute recess, so if you don't want to stay for the other items, we're going to start at 9:07. Thank you.
I don't know what's going on.
So I've got to go forward. This is Tiffany out there.
I may need it. I'm not going to turn it down. Look, I'm not going to turn it down tonight.
soon. You look different.
I don't have a charger.
They may have trumped up more volunteers.
All right.
I was just saying. We're gonna go ahead and get started just for a time. We do have about a dozen more items to cover. I think everyone's here. We're good. You guys are good. You're good. Okay. Page 68. Item E3 is a request to adopt an ordinance granting conditional use permit number Charlie Uniform -2023-0004 to Boxwood Inn LLC for the operation of a banquet function hall on a 1.627 acre parcel located at 10 Elmer Street, Zone C1, Retail Commercial. The continued use of the historic building will enhance the commercial vitality of the historic core of the Lee Hall area. On June 7th, 2023, the City Planning Commission voted 9-0 to recommend approval of conditional use permit Charlie Uniform -2023-0004 with conditions. City Manager recommends approval. Do we have any speakers?
Yes, sir. Mr. Raymond Newton for questions only, and Ms. Gina Newton.
Okay. Do we have any questions from council? None.
No.
Is for Ms. Gina Newton, is that questions only?
No, she didn't have questions only.
Okay. Ms. Gina Newton? Evening.
Good evening. Y'all have questions for me?
Oh, sorry, there's no questions, but it wasn't hit questions only. It wasn't checked.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we're good.
Nice to meet you all.
Great to meet you. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick?
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury?
4.
Vice Mayor Bethany?
4.
Councilman Ely?
4.
Councilman Harris?
4.
Mayor Jones?
4.
Councilman Long?
4.
Motion carried, 7-0.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Councilwoman Vick?
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury?
4.
Vice Mayor Bethany?
4.
Councilman Ely?
4.
Councilman Harris?
4.
Mayor Jones?
4.
Councilman Long?
4.
Motion carried, 7-0.
May I just say something? I certainly do look forward to that facility becoming what it used to be, so wonderfully celebrated. And so, good luck to you.
Thank you very much. Page 108, item E4 is a request to adopt an ordinance granting conditional use permit Charlie Uniform -2023-0005 to CNU 12396 Warwick LLC and Griffiths Associates to allow for the construction and operation of an automobile gasoline supply station of 429 University Place, Zone Z1, Retail Commercial. The proposed use of a gasoline supply station is consistent with One City, One Future 2040 comprehensive plan. On June 7th, the City Planning Commission recommended 8-0 with 1 abstention to recommend approval of conditional use permit to Charlie Uniform -2023-0005 with conditions. The city manager recommends approval. Are there any speakers?
Yes, sir, you have 3. First, Mr. Douglas Hornsby, questions only.
Do we have any questions at this time? Megan Fitzsimmons?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. My name is Megan Fitzsimmons, 200 South Tryon Street, Suite 200, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28204. I'm here to introduce this Harris Teeter Fuel Center that we're proposing off Warwick Boulevard. We're proposing this fuel center. It will be 4 multiple product dispensers, so 8 fueling positions that you would have, associated overhead canopy, kiosk, et cetera, with additional site appurtenances, air vac, et cetera, to kind of clean out your car. A little bit of background on the Harris Teeter program. This would be basically an accessory use to the Harris Teeter grocery store that's currently there, serving Harris Teeter's customers. This fuel program has been their #1 incentive for almost 10 years now, trying to add just an additional service to their existing customers. So this would be kind of an added fuel incentive for their customers, where you would get, some percentage off of your price of gasoline the more you spend at the grocery store, et cetera. But it's open to all occupants. Again, as you mentioned, it's consistent with the One City, One Future 2040 plan. The TIA has been approved with the city. And all we're requesting is an approval of the CUP. One condition that was discussed at our previous planning commission meeting that was revised at the meeting and recommended by the city manager was in regards to outdoor display and merchandising. And we're requesting approval of that new rewritten condition based on that planning commission meeting today. Happy to answer any questions or anything you guys might have for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Garrett Maravitz?
Garrett Marvez, 701 Crestdale Road, Matthews, North Carolina. I'm with Harris Teeter Real Estate. Just here for any questions as well.
Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury.
4.
Vice Mayor Bethany.
4.
Councilman Ely.
4.
Councilman Harris.
4.
Mayor Jones.
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury.
4.
Vice Mayor Bethany.
4.
Councilman Ely.
4.
Councilman Harris.
4.
Mayor Jones.
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Page 147, item E5 is a request to adopt an ordinance granting conditional use permit number Charlie Uniform -2023-0008 to Union Flex LLC and Vertex Performance LLC for the operation of a fitness center in a 10,800 square feet suite on a 3.91 acre parcel located at 311 Ed Wright Lane, C&D, Zone M1 Light Industrial. On June 7th, the City Planning Commission voted 9-0 to recommend approval of conditional use permit -2023-0008 with conditions. The city manager recommends approval. Are there any speakers? Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury.
4.
Vice Mayor Bethany.
4.
Councilman Ely.
4.
Councilman Harris.
4.
Mayor Jones.
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury.
4.
Vice Mayor Bethany.
4.
Councilman Ely.
4.
Councilman Harris.
4.
Mayor Jones.
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Page 172, item E6 is a request to adopt an ordinance authorizing signed ordinance text amendment number sign-2023-0001, amending and reordaining City Code Charter 33.01 signs, relocating the enforcement responsibility from the Department of Codes Compliance to the Department of Planning to effectuate the change approved for the 2024 fiscal year budget. On June 7th, the City Planning Commission voted 9-0 to recommend approval. City Manager recommends approval. Are there any speakers?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick,
Four.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
Four.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
Four.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
Four.
Motion carried, 7-0.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick,
Four.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
Four.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
Four.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
Four.
Motion carries, 7-0.
Page 189, item E7 is a request to adopt an ordinance authorizing zoning ordinance text amendment number Zulu Tango -2023-0003, amending and reordaining City Code Charter 45 zoning ordinance, relocating the enforcement responsibilities from the Department of Codes to Department of Planning to effectuate the budget as approved by the 2024 fiscal year budget. On June 7th, the City Planning Commission recommended 9-0 to recommend approval of zoning ordinance text amendment number Zulu Tango -2023-0003. The City Manager recommends approval. Are there any speakers?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick,
Four.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
Four.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
Four.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
Four.
Motion carries, 7-0.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll.
Councilwoman Vick,
Four.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
Four.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
Four.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
Four.
Motion carries, 7-0.
Thank you. Page 291, item E8 is a request to approve an ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to execute any and all documents, including deeds necessary to effectuate the conveyance of city-owned property located at 100 Ash Avenue to Tobia Homes LLC. Tobia Homes plans to construct a new single-family home on the sites. They have specialized experience in developing similar small lots. The potential sale has been circulated for interdepartmental review, and there's been no objections. The purchase price of the lots is the assessed value of $30,700. The city manager recommends approval. Are there any speakers?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick,
Four.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
Four.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
Four.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
Four.
Motion carried, 7-0.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick,
Four.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
Four.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
Four.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
Four.
Motion carried, 7-0.
Page 295, item E9 is a request to adopt an ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to execute the third amendment to the tower attachment lease by and between the City of Newport News, Virginia and New Singular Wireless PCS LLC for the ground air transmission site tower located at 100 Tower Lane, Yorktown, Virginia. The proposed third amendment continues New Singular Wireless PCS use of space on the city-owned communications tower at the ground air transmission site at 100 Tower Lane, Yorktown, Virginia. The amendment will extend the lease for a 5-year period from June 17th, 2023 through June 17th, 2028. Rent will begin at $50,395.65 per annum and will continue to be increased annually by an amount equal to 3% of the rent for the prior year. Leasee will also pay a one-time renewal fee of $10 million. All other terms that could. Is it 10,000? Okay. In my notes, it's 10 million. Okay. 10,000. All other terms and conditions of the original lease shall remain in full force and effect. The city manager recommends approval. Are there any speakers?
Yeah, could I ask a question? What was the number that you gave for the rent?
The rent will begin at $50,395 $395.65. Yeah, no, it's written,
I know.
yeah, not 50 million.
Okay, what are we doing?
Is there a motion to close public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick,
Four.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
Four.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
4.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
Move out.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick,
Four.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
Four.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
4.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Page 327, item E10 is a request to adopt an ordinance closing and vacating a certain portion of Tech Center Parkway in the center of Newport News, Virginia. The master plan for Tech Center contemplates having a drill field area within the two sides of Tech Center Parkway that could be used for gatherings and events supporting tenants of the research park as well as the general public. To facilitate the development of the drill field, City Council action is requested to approve closing and vacating approximately 1.168 acre portion of Tech Center Parkway. At a future meeting, City Council action will be requested to transfer the created parcel to the EDA to coordinate with the developer on the improvements to create the drill field area to include a stage and art sculpture plaza. The city manager recommends approval. Are there any speakers?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to close public hearing?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick,
Four.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
Four.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
4.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick,
Four.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
Four.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
4.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Page 332, item E11 is a request to adopt an ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to execute a deed of easement by and between the city of Newport News, Virginia, and Virginia Electric and Power Company, Dominion Energy, Virginia, granting an easement across city-owned property located on Dyson Shores Lane in New Kent County, Virginia. City Council received and opened one bid for this easement at its June 13th, 2023 regular meeting. Dominion Energy Virginia was the successful bidder with a bid of $3,258. The easement will enable Dominion Energy to extend overhead power lines to neighboring landowners. The city manager recommends approval. Are there any speakers?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to close public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick,
Four.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
Four.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
4.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
Adoption.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick,
Four.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
Four.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
4.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Consent agenda. Item F contains the following items. Page 342, minutes of the work session of June 13th, 2023. Page 347, minutes of the regular meeting of June 13th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda, items F1 and F2, all inclusive?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick,
Four.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
Four.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
4.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carried 7-0.
Other city council actions. Next on our agenda, page 363, item G1, Madam Manager.
This is a request to adopt an ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to execute Addendum 7 to the lease by and between the City of Newport News, Virginia and Chesapeake Bay Packing, LLC for city-owned property at Seafood Industrial Park, Parcel 18, and I recommend approval.
Are there any speakers?
Yes, sir. One questions only, Mr. Robert.
Do we have any questions at this time? No questions, sir. Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
Move adoption.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
4.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
4.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Page 371, item G2, Madam Manager.
This is a request to adopt an ordinance to amend and reordain City Code Chapter 6, Animals and Fowl, Article 1, in general, Section 6-2, location and maintenance of poultry and animal yards, and I recommend approval.
Are there any speakers?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
Move it up.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
I'm going to vote against this.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
4.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carries 6-1.
I will say why, tell you why I voted against it. We have been asked several times to make our ordinance more like the ordinance that they have in Hampton, which is they're contiguous to us. And that was ignored in this, and so I can't support it because theirs has some more reasonable things in their ordinance. So that's
you.
why I voted against it.
Thank you. Page 374, item G3, Madam Manager.
It's a request to adopt an ordinance to amend and reordain City Code Chapter 40, Taxation, Article 1, General Provisions and Exemptions, Division 2, Exemptions Generally, Section 40-7.06, Exemption for Disabled Veterans, and I recommend approval.
Are there any speakers?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
4.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
4.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you. Page 379, item G4, Madam Manager.
This is a request to adopt an ordinance amending and reordaining City Code Chapter 13, Building Regulations, Article 4, Registration and Qualification of Contractors and Tradesmen, Division 2, Registration of Contractors Generally, and I recommend approval.
Are there any speakers?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
4.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
4.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carried 7-0.
Appropriations, page 384, appropriations, item H, Madam Manager.
Yes, there are two items. The first is a request to approve a resolution appropriating $250,000 of fiscal year 2023 Virginia Department of Transportation Revenue Sharing Grant Program for the Jefferson Avenue at Wilcox Lane Traffic Signal Mast Arm Conversion Project. And the second item is a request to approve a resolution appropriating $18,070,786 of fiscal year 2023 Virginia Department of Transportation Smart Scale Grant Program funds for J. Clyde Morris Boulevard intersection, Warwick Boulevard and Oyster Point Road intersection, and Oyster Point Road widening improvement projects. And I recommend approval of both resolutions.
Are there any speakers?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to approve items H1 and H2, all inclusive?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
4.
Vice Mayor Bethany,
4.
Councilman Ely,
4.
Councilman Harris,
4.
Mayor Jones,
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carried 7-0.
Citizen comments. Item I, citizens' comments on matters germane to the business of City Council. I will call each of the 5 names in the order that it appears in front of me. Pam Hall.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We, the people of the Southeast community, continue to wait for our democracy when our opinions are valued. Where our opinions are valued. The building of a public school should not be the business of City Council. I suggest you drive by the proposed area at the time school will be in session to see the congestion around 28th Street, 29th Street, and Orchid Avenue. We, the people of the Southeast community, continue to believe that the current site where Huntington sits at 3401 Orchid Avenue is the best place to rebuild Huntington Middle School. Thank you.
Thank you. Alton Beckett. Clayton Ty.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, members of council. I reside at 12733 San Pablo Circle. I'm speaking to you tonight in regards to the work session that happened last Thursday. Mayor Jones, I remember you campaigned on modernizing City Hall. I realized you meant the bureaucratic functions of government, but why can't it actually be City Hall? One of the last surviving examples of modernist architecture in Newport News. A building that was built in 1972 to honor the breakthroughs of our shipyard and to signify that we can coexist downtown if we try. The city was off to a good start by repairing the roof your first month in office, but it shouldn't take a massive leak to fix a problem. Recent stories in the daily press and AP have highlighted the level of neglect downtown. Huntington Heights residents express animosity towards the shipyard being given free rein over the years. The Navy detailed a lack of adequate parking and living conditions in their review of sailor suicides. Both point to a common theme: the city ignoring problems by expecting others to fix them, then when it gets too bad, distracts people with the next new thing. It's time to break this cycle. The city manager's remarks that developers are salivating at the prospect of City Hall moving raises red flags to me. They don't get to say jump and we say how high. Let's revisit our 2040 comprehensive plan and work to keep our seat of government in place for another 50 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have the school board chair, Ms. Lisa Searles Law, and I didn't see them come in until the very end, but I appreciate them and the vice chair, Dr. Bess, for standing with us for 2.5 hours. We do appreciate you, and I would have acknowledged you if I saw you come in, but it was a large crowd.
No worries. We are part of the community just like everyone else. So, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of City Council. As mentioned, I'm Lisa Searles Law, Chair of the Newport News School Board, 12465 Warwick Boulevard. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to address you. First, I must share with you how honored I am to be a part of this community. And yes, tonight was spectacular to see that our community cares. My heart is really full. On behalf of the school board and, of course, the vice chair who's with me, and students, staff, and families of Newport News Public Schools, I thank you. That's what I'm here for, is to thank you for your unwavering support and partnership this year. We truly appreciate your action to fully fund our budget for the 2023-24 school year. Thank you for your support. We will be able to continue to have funding for all of our current initiatives and departments. Employees will also receive a 5% salary increase, and our teachers will receive an average of 7 to 10+% with experience adjustments. Our approved budget also includes the addition of 6 licensed clinical social workers and 5 school-based program specialists to support our students and families, 6 additional attendance specialists to help us with accreditation, the new Executive Director of Crisis Planning, Prevention, and Environmental Risk Management, and a Director of School Safety, an additional 30 school security officers. The budget includes funding for additional metal detection systems, radios, security cameras, and some technology upgrades for students and teachers. I also want to thank you for your support following the tragic event at Rich Neck Elementary. We were grateful for your on-site assistance and resources and your financial contribution that ensured all of our schools receive state-of-the-art weapons detection systems. Council members and mayor, you showed up. You were present that day. Thank you. We also acknowledge your contributions, co-sponsorship, and attendance at City of Champions events held last month at Todd Stadium. You all showed up. You were there. Over 3,000 students, family members, and staff attended the event, which celebrated and highlighted students and staff awards and accomplishments while showcasing visual and performing arts. This week marks the official close of the 2022-2023 school year, a year with challenges and successes. Early this month, nearly 1,700 students graduated from Newport News Public Schools, but you know that because you were there. The class of 2023 earned more than $63 million in scholarships and awards, and they have been accepted into 120 colleges and universities located across the country. Almost half the class graduated with honors by maintaining a grade point average of 3.0 or higher, and as you know, our graduation rate is higher than the state average and among the highest on the peninsula at nearly 95%. And there's more good news. Newport News Public Schools was once again named Virginia's Living Magazine Top Schools and Universities list. Our school division is recognized for our magnet programs, STEM curriculum, AP courses, dual enrollment, career and technical education courses, and youth development. I have heard many of you speak on the promises of these programs all this year. Thank you for that. Students and staff at Discovery STEM Academy increased its combined standards of learning test pass rates in math, reading, and science for the past 3 years, and increased its combined pass rate by more than 10% for 2 or more student groups in reading and math during the same time period. Greenwood Elementary School students and staff increased the combined SOL test pass rate for 2 or more student groups in reading and math during each of the last 3 school years, and the school raised its pass rate by more than 10 points. The Triple Helix Robotics team, based at Minchville High School, successfully defended their title as champions of FIRST Robotics, and you already know that because you were there in the audience to see them receive their awards. The Woodside High School boys basketball team captured Class 5 state championship, and the Heritage School track team won the Class 4 state championships. You were there. Newport News students also earned Class 5 state titles in the long jump, Class 5 state titles in the 100-yard butterfly, and inaugural state titles in girls open wrestling. And once again, you were there as they received their awards. These are just a few of the many accomplishments our students and staff earned this year, thanks to your ongoing support. While we have areas that we definitely need ongoing attention, we have much to celebrate. And the truth is, having your support has made all the difference in our students and in our cities. So thank you for your time and attention this evening. I hope you all get a good night's rest. Job well done.
Thank you, ma'am. And the last speaker of the night will be Ms. Carolyn Holzer.
She's gone.
Okay. New business. Our next item is new business. We'll start with the city manager.
Nothing, sir.
City attorney.
Nothing, sir.
City clerk. Vice mayor.
I think I'll start with a new business item in which I move to adopt an ordinance authorizing the execution of addendum number 18 to the employment contract of the city clerk. A copy of the ordinance is before you.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury. 4. Vice Mayor Bethany.
4.
Councilman Ely.
4.
Councilman Harris.
4.
Mayor Jones.
4.
Councilman Long.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
I also have another new business item, which is a move to adopt an ordinance authorizing the execution of addendum number 12 to the employment contract of the city attorney. A copy of the ordinance is before you.
Second. Moved and seconded. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Vick?
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury?
4.
Vice Mayor Bethany?
4.
Councilman Ely?
4.
Councilman Harris?
4.
Mayor Jones?
4.
Councilman Long?
4.
Motion carried, 7-0.
Thank you. Anything else?
Yes, since I already went, I think, matter of fact, the only thing that I really had that I wrote down, the last meeting, we didn't get an opportunity to highlight something that was pretty awesome, and it was our police chief who received an award from HR Cap. And remind me again, what was the title for the award, please? Community Leadership Award. It was a what again? I'm sorry.
Community leadership.
Okay, so please give it up for our police chief for being an amazing community leader out here, constantly present. Just want to say kudos to you, sir, and that is all that I have.
Councilman Woodbury.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Councilman Ely.
No comment, sir.
Councilman Harris.
Just thank you to everybody who came out on tonight. It was encouraging, inspiring, and I thank you for everyone who participated and was engaged in our meeting. That's all I have, Mayor Jones.
Councilman Long.
I no comments.
Councilman Vick.
I just want to thank you all for staying out here with us. Congratulations, Chief Drew, on your award from Hampton Roads Community Action Program. And to also thank Dr. Bess, Terry Bess, our Vice Chair, and Lisa, our Chair, for coming out with those kind words. I also mentioned in my comments today at the meeting that I really want for us to, within the next 30 days, get a joint meeting scheduled with the mayor, council, and the school board, so that we can, do like we had intended to do, or say what we were going to do, try to meet regularly, so we'll stay on the same path. And I know that the communication, as you mentioned, Chairwoman, that the communication, as it increases between both boards, so will our communication and the things we can do throughout the city with our children and our citizens. So I really did want to make a note of that for you, Ms. Manager, or whoever's going to make that happen, that we get that on the books.
Got it.
And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I'll be brief. The first thing I want to do is to give a shout out to the partnership that we have with our school board. Everyone always asks me what's the hardest job in government and politics, and I say school board, because everyone cares about their kid. They don't have the power to tax, and yet they're involved in what I would say is the hardest thing to do, which is to educate the future. And so the partnership and the leadership of you two over the last 6 months, I appreciate. I'm a pretty stoic individual, but it almost brought a tear to my eye. But I look forward to working with you, because at the end of the day, it's our future that is at stake, and I appreciate you. I really do, both of you. The second thing, and really the last thing I want to touch on, is I know there's been a few articles about what happened last Friday, discussions about City Hall. I'll first say thank you to the manager and to the team and the staff for putting it on. I really think it's important that the citizens understand the importance of having a strategic vision that is updated when you have a new council. I think it was a 6 to 7 hour meeting last Friday, and that City Hall discussion was only 10 minutes. But I think it's important to realize that things cannot be done in the city in silos. What happens in downtown will affect City Center, will affect the Amtrak multimodal station, will affect the airport, etc. And some things that I want to hit on. So number one is, as you look at the future of work, things are changing. There's a limited amount of individuals that even appear at City Hall locations. A lot of things are done online. When you look, I think council has some concerns. When you look at the Yard District, and to go back to what I should have said, I said it in work session. I firmly believe the future of Newport News is rooted in downtown, And right now, the Yard District is sort of throttled. It's very, very hard to grow. Additionally, the foot traffic in City Center has also been limited. And so it's not one thing done in isolation. It's things that are going to happen, maybe not in the next 5 years, 10, 15. The most important part of that is community involvement, and I think we saw that here today. At the end of the day, it's always about the will of the people, and there may be some discussions and some arguments. But before, and I think I say this new administration because it's a new city council, but I think everyone here on council is very interested in what the public has to say. We've been over backwards to hold town halls to be transparent, to be open, because that's what I believe the future government is, and that's what everyone here that's on this dais owes to the citizens. So whether it's a town hall about the future of downtown, a town hall about the future of City Center, a town hall about what is the regional approach to approach unhoused individuals and how we can support them with wraparound services to include day and a night shelter, all of that involves public sentiment and approach. And the last thing that I'll say is I view the role of mayor and as council as how can we create pathways that encourage civic engagement and involvement. And just seeing people here tonight, 3 hours in, we started a work session about 5 hours ago, to see those that remain, I really do appreciate it. So I think the last thing I'll say is all power to the people. We stand adjourned.